let me go to Gary Shergold, MMR. And Gary has got a really special project for you. And he's building a Walthers plastic kit of their company stores. And I promise you, when he's finished, it won't look plastic. Gary, welcome. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Jim. As I said, this is the company house, plastic to wood. And I'd like to thank Walthers for providing this kit. It was a fun project. And yeah, what we're going to do, we're going to talk about the kit. I'm going to see what's in the box. And then we're going to do a little bit of talking about making plastic look like wood. So what we have is, this is the kit. And it comes with two buildings. And these are little houses that employees would have lived in. Same kit again. And this is the blueprint or the footprint of the building. It's only 6 7/16 long and 2 13/16 wide. It is a nice little kit. And what we get in the kit is actually two of these buildings. So you can see on here, we have the ends, sides, some of the bottom foundations. There's a little porch on the back. We have a set of curtains and blinds that you can use. These are the doors, windows of the kit. And over here is the foundation, roofing, and porches back and front. So this is what you get inside. And when you open this up, what you want to do is divide this up, put one set aside and one set to work on. Or if you're ambitious, you can do both at the same time. Now, you're going to have to get a little gathering of tools. What you're going to need is some plastic glue, snippers, a nice chisel, flat, wide chisel, razor blade, nice hobby knife, and these are razor saws. So you're going to need one of these. And this here, I'll explain a little later what that is. So basically, you're going to use this quite a bit. This, you don't need to have a handle on it. It works a lot better if you have one of these. Now, what I had done was I had taken a spare one of these, and you can see I cut it up into the diameter that would fit my knife. And this is a little blade holder. And I made these blades. And what this basically is this, only cut down into small pieces. And here's another shot just showing what these things look like. And these will fit into here. So what you want to do is, what I did was just for demonstration purposes, I took a piece of styrene. This is plastic styrene. And you take your razor saw and you draw in one direction down each board. This is very tedious and takes a long time. So just relax and draw that blade down each board. What you want to do is you want to put graining in the board. And you only do this one direction, and you only do it once. Don't try to keep going over and over, or you'll ruin the plastic. So what you do is you draw it down, and you can see here I'm using that other knife. But basically what you want to do is down, down, down. Sorry, in one direction. Each board, that's actually the wood in the model. So once you do that, so what you're going to do is each one of these pieces is wood siding. and you're going to scribe each board all the way down. One
Got a
direction.
pointer, Gary?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Oh, there you go.
I'm sorry. Yeah. So what you want to do is draw that blade down each board. It takes time, but believe me, it'll be worthwhile. And if we flip over here, I've done the same thing. These are the other sides, and I did exactly the same thing here. And there's the side without with the scribing already put in. You can just see right along here the grain that has been added to the plastic siding. A little closer view, that's not scribed, and then this is now scribed. So you can see the wood grain that's now been put into the plastic. This is probably the it's not hard, it's just the most tedious part of the project. And you're going to do this on all wooden surfaces of this model. And there's quite a lot. Now, what I did was I'm showing the foundation here. And these are the little foundation boards. Now, you do exactly the same thing. And when you're working on this, pay attention to, okay, this is a complete line, so you would scribe all the way this way. And then what you do is you come down and you subscribe this way now, down, all the way along. So you follow the pattern that the wood would be. You don't want to be scribing this way because you're going to ruin it. So come straight down where the wood would be along, and the same as along here, along the top. And same with the ends. Now you have your flashing that goes along the building. So what you would do is you would scribe straight down this way, and you'd scribe straight down this way on this side, and then on this side. You've already done all this prior to starting the ends. And same here, you can see the scribing. I've now put wood grain into the plastic. And the same with the boards that go this way here. This is the back and this is the front of the building. Same thing here, you follow the lines and then straight down. Now, what you'll get here is you get roofing parts. This here is the roof, and these are foundation parts. These are the front porch and the back porch. Right, I'm sorry, this is the roof of the back porch, and the roof of or the front porch and the back porch. This is the porch itself, and you'll have to go in and scribe all those boards that are on that back porch. And the front porch, exactly the same thing. These boards run this way, so you're going to be scribing all these with that razor saw, board by board, till you get it done. And you don't have to press really hard. And remember, don't go, once you've gone once, that's enough. Don't do it again, because you're going to ruin the plastic. Get my cursor. Okay, here's I was explaining to you, that's the back porch, front porch. Nice boards. And this is them scribed. Each board, I went with that razor saw. And you can see the grain. The grain is really nice. It comes out quite nice. So then we go over to the windows. And there's a little more of that siding there, or that bottom part of the foundation that you'll use. The banisters, railings. And what you're going to do is you're going to go over each one of these. You're going to follow the straight line and scribe across here, and then you're going to scribe down. Don't try to scribe in here. You can try it if you wish, but it's really difficult because these doors are set in. It's really hard to get the razor saw down in there. So what I did was I went over the doors, all the porch, not these ones here, but all down on the bottom post and the top rail of the railing. Same with here, one way, and then down the other way. You can do these if you wish, but it's not necessary. And then over here on the windows, what I did was I went down the windows here and along here, along here, along the sides, going in the direction that the grain would normally go, and just across the top here, very lightly. Don't try to do these because they'll break. There's the door I was telling you about, okay, along here. Now, what I've also done is, when you get plastic kits, these kits, when they're molded, is a continuous mold. So you don't have joints. And in a wooden kit, you get the actual joints. So what you're going to do is very carefully take your knife, very sharp knife, and you're going to put joint marks in there. Here, 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 and here. And it was the same with the windows. You're going to go back to the windows and you're going to put a joint mark where the joint marks would normally be. If you were making this window, it would be 4 pieces. So you want to make this look like it's actually 4 pieces. Plastic molding, it looks like one solid piece, but you want to put those little marks. And you'll put those little marks in everywhere that you find items, like there'll be your knife would cut into the, right there at that joint, cut in a little mark on here and here, same with here. And you go through every single one of the windows and you do that. Same with the doors. You can see here where I've scribed. This one's not, and this one's got the scribing put in to make it look like wood. Now, this method I'm going to show you here, you don't have to do, but it really adds a little bit of realism to your model. Once you get your scribing done, what you want to do is you want to take the razor saw and very gently cut a very thin hole, like not just a little cut line right in the board. And you can put you'll see later on where I've done it on the model. On the model. So you put a little cut line there. And then what you do very, very gently, you go underneath where that cut line is, and you put the edge of your razor and just very slowly work it under there. You don't want to do too long one, just a short one. And you want to get this to cut down in and up. Now, if you push too hard with this blade, what you're going to do is you're going to break that off. Don't worry about that, because boards do break off the sides of building. But the idea is just to very gently get underneath with the razor and raise that slightly. And what you'll get is, you'll get this. You want to raise that board just to make it look like the board is old and it's starting to rise up where the joint is. Okay, now what you can do too is, these are like, I do this on the model and I put these randomly. Normally I put them down near the lower part of the wall that I'm working on, or you can put them on the upper part. You can also take that blade and you can cut. Like what I did was boards like that. This building's approximately, I think 25 feet scale, HO scale feet long. So boards don't come in 25-foot lengths. So you can take this method here and you can scribe lines here and there. So what I did was all the long boards on the building. What I did, I came along, like if there was a window here, I didn't do it on those boards. But the boards that were the full length of the building, what I did was I put a little notch just to show that the boards are broken up into maybe 18 feet long or whatever. And we're going to end it there. Now, if you got one of these kits, you can start working on that scribing that I showed. And next week, we're going to be working on the foundation. And we're going to change the foundation and make it into a stone foundation, whatever type of material you wish to do. And I did this because the model itself, I didn't like the bottom part of the building. It didn't, it looked like a poured concrete building, and it just didn't look right. So what we're going to talk about next week is working on the foundation and making it look like it's stone. Okay. And that's about it for now. Any questions?
Anybody have any questions for Gary?
Yeah, I do. If I get
Yes.
mine up there. There it is. Gary, this has nothing to do with your construction, which I think is excellent. What kind of camera are you using to look down on your work?
It's actually my iPad.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, it's an iPad. It's got very fantastic resolution.
It was,
It's-
but the depth of field was good, was better than what I've got, and the width, the wide angle was much better. I've got a little camera. I think I need to get a new one. It's just like a camera that goes on your computer so you can talk to people, but it's really not great for what I do. Weathering clinics, and in order for anybody past the front row to see anything, I need to project it on the screen.
Right. Yeah,
So-
like I have an Apple iPad.
Yeah, I got one
Mhm.
right here. My internet went out a few minutes ago, and I was trying to switch over to my iPad. Then it came back
Yeah.
on. So
I have found that the iPad has just as great resolution as my I have a Nikon or a Nikon D50.
oh,
And
okay.
I use that quite a bit, but since my daughter got me the iPad for Christmas, and the camera part of it's fantastic.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I use it for camera a lot. But anyway, back to the construction. Thank you.
Yeah, you're very
Gary?
welcome. Thanks.
Gary?
Yes. Yes.
I think it's important to point out too, it depends on what scale you're working in, but the little saws that you use, if you're in HO or N, you want to use the finest teeth that you can find in the saw, because obviously if you use the fewer number of teeth in your saw, it's going to make a out of scale pattern on your wood.
That's correct. Yeah, like I have mine, the blade that I showed you, I should have mentioned it. And thanks for mentioning it. It's a very fine tooth razor saw. And that's the best to use.
Gary, can you, how did you cut the blade?
Good.
What I used was, I actually have a pair of scissors that is designed to cut thin metal. And that's what I used to cut it with, was those scissors. They're metal cutting. Well, they're a pair of scissors, but they've got a special edge on them. Like it's a very fine, when you look at it, it looks like a file, but it's not. And it cuts metal beautifully.
Okay, thank you.
You're very welcome.
Gary, I have a question, unless I just missed the answer. I was listening on YouTube while I was walking the dog. How did you cut apart your saw to make the little pieces?
Yeah, I used a pair of scissors that have got a special edge on them.
Or like metal shears?
I'm sorry?
Like
No,
metal
they're-
shears?
They're not metal shears, but they're a pair of scissors that they cut paper and cardboard and thin plastic, but they're you can also cut very thin metal. Now, I'm sure everyone has a razor saw, so you know how thick that is. These scissors will actually cut that.
Okay, thank
Maybe you
you.
could show that to us next week. That scissors.
Thanks, Pat.
Yeah,
Yeah, what I'll do is I'll take a picture of that and I'll put it into the program. And next week I'll show you those scissors.
Gary,
Thank you.
also, I wanted to mention that in my experience of trying to turn plastic into wood, I've also had to clean up a little bit of the plastic after putting the grain in, because there's little fine pieces of plastic all over the place. Maybe I'm pressing too hard, but often I have to use some steel wool to kind of clean up the plastic after I put the grain in.
Right. You can also use a very fine sandpaper and very gently go over it with a sandpaper, especially around the door and window openings. Because as you're scraping, you're going to be pulling bits of plastic to that opening. That has to be cleaned.
Any other questions for Gary? Gary, thank you so much. Looking forward to seeing you next week.
Okay, thank you very much, Jim.